Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Dear God, Why Did I Stay Up Until 6 a.m. playing Bayonetta 2? My eyes hurt really bad.
Oh man,
How is Bayonetta 2? Is it good?
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. Oh, it's so good.
I've heard
I wanna
mixed
play
things
it.
about it. That like it's good, like it's really good. Well, the mixed things are like it's really good, but it's missing some like X. You know?
All right, well, I haven't played enough to know what X
Well,
is yet.
yeah.
I mean, I've played about
you
2.5
really can't
hours.
have a game without X. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
Well,
Like,
he
that's-
does
that's
give it
true,
to you
yeah.
pretty much every damn time.
He does like to give it to you pretty
He
often.
really
so.
gives it to you like hard and
Yeah.
heavy.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
I really want to get it. I've been playing Civ so much. I haven't really had time to play it. So,
Yeah.
How
And,
badass is it that they just are like, hey, have Bayonetta 1 also?
that's
And
really
it's like the
That
best
is
version of it.
actually like really cool.
Who does that? That just doesn't happen.
It doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
I hate
Oh my god.
everything. All right. And,
Well,
and I
you
also
do-
have the controller thing now, the controller glitch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like
Three.
Make
I
sure you
did
can
3
show-
mulligans.
three.
Oh my.
That's a lot of mulligans.
I
Some-
got too much land, then no land, then too much land, and then medium amount of land.
Some McGulligan right there.
I
with the
should have
cameras.
done another mulligan, but I didn't, and maybe I'm going to pay for that mistake. Perhaps it's possible. Yeah, no, I never really got into like the glam fightery type of stuff. The only stuff that I liked was like kind of God of War, and even that I was like,
Lamb Fighter? Where did that come from? It's a character action game, man.
it's character action. Is that another?
Glam? I've
Yeah,
never heard of that.
Glam fighter is a term for it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that kind of thing is. I never really got into it. I played Devil May Cry. What was it? 2 or 3? The third one, I think, was the one that was like really cool, where he eats
The
the
third
pizza.
one got all the accolades.
Yeah. Okay. I played that one. That one was cool.
I don't
and
think
then I
I've
played
played
God of
one
War.
before.
Really?
I'm trying to
Oh.
think. I don't think I've ever had a game that's just a fighty beat 'em up kind of game.
You haven't played God of War?
No.
God of War was really cool when I was like a small child, but
Well, I think those games tended to be more on Sony consoles. Not like I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's good or
Yeah,
bad.
you're right.
they were,
They are.
To be on Sony consoles, and I didn't own a PS2 until after I had owned a 360, which is
dude,
weird.
PS2s were great.
No, yeah, I got it, and I played Ratchet and
Oh,
Clank and
good.
Jack and Daxter.
I have to remove a card from my hand.
Oh no,
I love Dota.
this isn't Dota.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying.
Oh, you're tired too.
Yeah. No, I just say Dota often is in
Oh,
place of
okay.
things. But yeah, PS2 was a fantastic console. Like really. That is definitely one of the best consoles ever.
Yeah, it like kept selling years and years and years after all the other
Yeah.
consoles had come out.
If they were still making them, I'm sure it still would actually compete with some handhelds. Like they probably stopped making them so that it would stop outselling their PSP.
Didn't the last PS2 game come out like last year?
Maybe.
There was a weird sports game, like the
Yeah.
Spanish version of Madden or something, that was like 2 years after the console stopped existing.
That's funny.
It was, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, it's just a good console.
Console. It's a good
Console. If it had online, it would have been the greatest thing ever.
It did, didn't it?
It
Well,
did, but
it
not like
did.
useful.
Not
It was-
officially,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
Just like the GameCube actually had online too, just not officially.
It was
Yeah.
like a 56K modem that you could plug into the back of it and play like Phantasy Star and that
Yeah.
Resident Evil game and Final Fantasy 11.
Right.
I'm pretty much fucked, I think. So, you know.
No, you're fine.
Actually, I think it did have an Ethernet port on it, so maybe it did support some level of
I
like
actually
DSL or something.
don't think it had an Ethernet. If I'm being honest,
I'm pretty sure it did.
I don't think so. You had to use an
Uh,
Adapterino Cappuccino.
Adapter.
I thought it did. Because
might
also the
have.
Dreamcast had one too.
The Dreamcast definitely did, but that came out like just before the that next generation.
Dreamcast. When the hell was Dreamcast? It was like halfway through
That
the
one's
PS2
like
or something.
03 or 0.
I'm like real tired, so everything I'm saying makes no sense. Probably.
I don't know. Let me see.
I
That
actually somehow lose sense of time when I'm sleepy. I don't even understand what that means.
Dreamcast was like a really good system, but it was
No, there's no but. It just is. It's a really good system.
98.
But
Well, it just did poorly, but you know, it's
But
just unfortunate. 90.
indie developers make games for it now sometimes. It's good.
98 is when it came out.
98.
98 million.
It's like the year after Final Fantasy VII.
It was just like way ahead of its time.
Way ahead.
It actually was.
Oh,
I mean, like
well.
it basically had the Wii U controller.
Huh.
Wonder what enchantment you're gonna.
Guys, you have any ideas what enchantments I should pick here?
I
Or
don't know.
no idea.
No clue.
you want to put it to a vote?
Yeah, we can vote.
Yeah, I could vote on it. Yeah.
All right. So options on the table are Quest for the Gravelord, and that's it. What should I vote for?
Okay, probably that one then. Yeah.
I'm gonna. You're gonna
I'm
vote for
gonna go with
that,
that
Oh,
one.
See, I was gonna vote for turn the game off.
Oh, you were gonna abstain.
Yeah.
Okay,
You could have tried to filibuster me, but it would have picked up by default.
that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's amazing how much like actual politics are involved in Magic the Gathering: Duels of the Planeswalkers.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I just don't actually want to lose a card, so I'm just gonna play this. And who wants to have their creature tap?
Not me.
Not me. All right, Austin is at not me, which I will say is heads. Okay, it's Nick. I'm gonna tap this thing.
Yeah, that's what I wanted because I didn't say not me. So please,
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
if I had
interesting.
wanted you not to, I would have said don't, and then
Right.
you wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's fair. You know what I had yesterday was Reese's Pieces.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, I love
Smaller
Reese's
versions
Pieces.
of Reese's cups. That's what those are.
Yeah. Oh, actually, well, no, I guess I had Reese's Cups.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I thought the full name of the company was Reese's Pieces, but I'm probably completely wrong. That would make
Dude.
no sense.
No, Reese's Pieces.
The Reese's company.
Oh wait. What's the cereal?
No,
Reese's-
no. Well, that's Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs. Okay, that's why I was confused. Right. I thought you had the cereal.
Reese's Pieces was the. Oh, I had Reese's.
Reese's
I
Pieces
said
are just the
Reese's Cups.
tiny little Reese's, like the little candies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're little like.
They're like
had
Skittles,
those.
but with peanut butter in them.
Mhm.
See, I don't have this. I don't have those because I mean the whole thing is that Reese's peanut butter cups are perfect. That's their whole advertising.
They're.
thing.
I
So
mean,
why
they're
would you?
amazing, Yeah.
Why would you not just have those?
I actually think that might be my favorite chocolate delight.
Chocolate
Then you
dip.
haven't had a lot of Lindt truffles in your life.
I have. Those are good. But I mean, like,
It's butter inside. They're just filled with chocolate butter.
I don't actually know what I can do in this game, to be honest.
You do.
I guess I'll do this, and maybe this will do something for me. I don't know.
What does that do?
I'm just gonna
Do.
creature to its owner's hand here.
Oh. Oh, you get to draw a card.
Yeah. Fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna get the land anyway. Whatever. I'm pretty much boned up real good. But yeah, no, Reese's Cups are amazing. It does that salt and chocolate thing. Just in the perfect
Yeah, they have a
amount.
very delicious blend of the
Yeah.
chocolate and peanut butter, and they know it.
They
They're
do
a little
know it.
cocky about it too.
They really are. I mean,
All
they
right, so
should be.
just all the things are targeting me.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm being such an asshole this game.
Whatever.
It's probably because I'm not really any kind of threat whatsoever. So, that's probably part of it.
Yeah,
150 milligrams of sodium. It's a lot.
it's a lot of sodium.
But at least the serving size is actually one package. I actually really hate it when candy bars are like, yeah, the serving size is actually 3/4 of a bar, so that's how we can get away with saying that we give you 150% of your daily value of sodium.
Were we supposed to have like a truth in advertising group that like make sure shit doesn't happen like that, or they don't do that?
Yeah, well, it's probably appointed like by the president that the lobbyist for one of those companies is the CEO of that, whatever that is.
The president of the world.
Yeah, world president.
Because like in a country where we're so happy to bring out lawsuits because someone is dissatisfied that Red Bull didn't give them wings,
Right.
like that should be an actual thing people can get upset about, not just an imaginary crazy town thing.
Mm-hmm. Is that an actual?
That's an
thing?
actual thing that someone sued
actually
over.
really
Yeah.
like actually.
Yeah, like Red Bull can't give you wings. You're an idiot if you think that you can get wings from drinking something.
You know what that is? Is that's like not even a that no one even actually thought that Red Bull could give them wings. It's just like, oh, I see something that I can like
Red Bill.
exploit the
Right.
system and make a lot of money.
Their restitution was like Red Bull could give you up to $3 or some stupid shit.
Red Bull could give you up to
It
3
was
wings.
like a really small amount of money. It was like no more than $10 if I remember.
Approximately 3 wings. Red Bull can give you.
Red Bull could give you hot wings is the answer. They
That would be
gone with.
awesome.
Dude, I wouldn't even be mad.
Yeah, that would be great, dude.
Because
If
that's
Red
like
Bull
the,
could give me
the
those.
perfect thing to go with Red Bull is like some buffalo wings or something.
Yeah,
Red
I
Bull
actually.
will give you hot wings.
Red Bull will give you buffalo wings.
Red Bull is going to give you buffalo
Wings.
wings. Yeah.
Red Bull's gonna give it to you.
It is. Red Bull is actually like a really good company. I don't
Red
like
Bull's the X of energy drinks.
They really are. You know, if Bayonetta 2 had more Red Bull, it'd be like probably 10 out of 10.
10
I mean,
out of 10
she
would Red
pretty
Bull.
much has wings. Like if you look in the sky when, or like the sun's hitting her and you see her silhouette, it's actually she's got butterfly wings on her back.
Yeah,
I
but
think
she
she
doesn't-
already got into the Red Bull.
But she doesn't have any butterfly wings or any Red Bull.
That you know of, maybe it's already been consumed
That's
off
a good
camera.
point, yeah.
You don't see everything she does from minute to minute.
Minutes to win it.
I am minute to win it.
It's like a game, right?
I'm the minuet of win it. Win it
You
peg.
can win it on the minute.
What was that game show where they like brought you to a skyscraper in New York City and you'd like live in a biodome for a day? Anybody remember that?
I do not know that.
It was like this weird ass plexiglass building on top of the roof of some shit. And then you'd go up there and you'd like challenge someone to trivia every so often, and then you'd get kicked out if you didn't do well enough or something.
You sure, Austin?
It was
Absolutely.
like a real big deal for a while. I remember the news kept covering it and it was like, "What is this? Is a fucking TV show? Why are you covering another TV show?"
Because it's like an infinite loop of TV show coverage. You just keep twirling and whirling and twirling and whirling.
And then on that show, they would say how they were covered on the news, and then the news would cover that they covered that they were covered on the news.
Absolutely.
Hey, I get to keep playing to know particular great moments for me. All right.
Alrighty then.
I'm just gonna like do this.
Do 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 do.
Is that the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire sound almost?
Diddle-diddle-doo. Do 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 do. I like that. I used to watch that show a lot. I think out of like the 30 times I've seen that show, one person's won $1 million.
It's very rare.
Didn't the first guy who did it win $1 million? I think
I don't know. Maybe their questions were not balanced properly at that point.
Well, no, I think the first guy who went on was like really smart, and he just like destroyed and won.
And then from there, they realized not to bring smart people on the show.
Yeah, basically.
Wouldn't surprise me very much.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was just like the classic, like game show. Like not counting like
Yeah.
Price is Right and Jeopardy and all those, but like the whole $1 million thing wasn't really a thing until then.
Yeah, until then. Yep, you're right.
I really hate Switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the dumbest of things.
I played a lot of Millionaire on the NLSS.
Wow. Really? Really though?
Yeah, whatever.
Just takes one.
I didn't really even contribute to this game in any way.
One part out of the equation.
Hope I draw a good card.
But yeah, I played a lot of that game
I just
on the
got an achievement.
NLSS, and it was basically just bullshit questions about
That's-
video games. I'll just stop talking, I guess.
I'm sorry. I said a really funny achievement. It was sacrifice. Sacrifice a creature that you don't own. So that was interesting. Continue, Nick. Sorry, I was being rude.
I was just gonna say it was mostly just bullshit questions about trying to remember voice actors for video games. Like anybody pays attention to that generally, unless it's Nolan North.
I think I fucked up.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I did. Yeah, I fucked up. I have to, or I mean, I could still win if I get lucky here, but I have to get the right thing going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what you mean.
And I have to not draw another land, basically.
Well, that's at beginning of your upkeep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys ever run into somebody that just pays a really irrationally large amount of attention to people who do really small roles in other works? Like that they know the second or third composer for like this really obscure game,
Oh, yeah.
and like they follow all their work through everything,
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean.
but they don't really like know much about stuff in general, just like that one thing.
Yeah, there's just so many game composers that like you could never really just know game composers. There's just so many good
Yeah.
ones too. I mean, everyone knows Koji Kondo. That's the one anyone
Oh
could name.
God! It's the
What happened?
Xbox controller.
The next box controller.
Yeah, the next box controller.
That's
I
the
have
next thing they need to install is a sensor that can tell when you're picking it up, so it just stops rattling when it's laying down on a
That's
surface.
a good idea. Yeah.
I'm gonna need a good draw here. I'm gonna be in a bit of a situation.
You're gonna be in for a world of hurt.
I didn't expect you to switcheroo me.
Mm-hmm. I switched the roo.
That doesn't help me in
No
any
more
way.
kangaroos involved. Oh, you got the angelic accord.
Yeah, I did.
You know that movie Kangaroo Jack? I heard that it was all bullshit and that the kangaroo was only in the movie for like 30 seconds.
Wow, that's bullshit.
They marketed it really weird. It was about the two guys, not the kangaroo.
Right. It was like a hallucination or something, and like
Oh,
you never
yeah.
see the kangaroo except for in one really short part.
Mm.
So like, what kind of bait and switch is that?
I
You
don't
went
know.
to the movies
Yeah.
to see a
Weird.
talking kangaroo, and then you never see it except for
No
one
talking-
scene.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, I still liked the movie, but I know exactly what you're saying because yeah, there's basically just one hallucination scene where there's like 4 kangaroos and that's it.
Mhm.
The kangaroo is just a real kangaroo. For like 2 other times, he steals a sweatshirt or something.
He also
that has-
doesn't know Jack, I've heard.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
There's one card I could draw that could help.
Is
Only
the one
one.
that kills all things.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that'd be shitty if you drew that one.
Nope, didn't get there.
All right.
I lose. I drew lands for like 5 turns in a row, man. I thought I was okay to try and
Sucks.
win it, but
Yeah.
it didn't work out.
Well, that's why I took out Nick, because I couldn't do this unless Nick was dead there.
I just needed to draw like 1 or 2 creatures. I would have been fine. The game just decided that that was not gonna be.
Mm.
Anyway, Kangaroo Jack. Weren't they gonna make a sequel to that? Didn't they make a sequel to
I don't know, but I hope it has no kangaroos in it at all.
that? 0 kangaroos.
But they market it that it does anyway.
Kangaroo Jack.
They'll just film like a scene for the DVD
No,
that's got a kangaroo in it, and then they'll use that for all of the trailers. But
Right.
it'll never be in the movie.
Wow. Apparently that movie was really bad.
I'm not
Yeah.
terribly surprised that it had
I
very low
could've told you
ratings.
that.
Yeah.
8% on Rotten. I don't remember it being that
8?
bad, but I was
pretty
like,
bad.
I was
8?
like, what was I? I was 10 years old when I saw it.
That's approaching Nicolas Cage levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
bad.
mean, it got a 4.3
Crap, that's like
on IMDb.
Sunday horse bullshit.
But yeah, I don't remember it being that
That's
bad.
that's
Like,
rotten. Well, see, that's actually Rotten Tomatoes, because how Rotten Tomatoes works is it's not that the average reviews of the movie was 8%. It's that out of all of the reviews, it bases it on whether the review was positive or negative. So if it was like below 50%, I think that's counted as like a negative review. And if it was above,
Right.
then it's a positive review. That's why you see
Yeah,
some
that's a-
movies that have like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and they're not that good. It's just because like people have like if they get like a 6 out of 10 from everyone, then they're gonna have like really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Can there be like 80% rotten or like 8% fresh?
You
Because
mean-
then I don't even understand like what that means really. It's a
I have
confusing
no idea.
system.
Maybe, yeah. It is a kind of a confusing system. Metacritic though, it works on that other type of model where it's like it's just an aggregate average of all the reviews from everybody. That's been, I guess, what's the word?
Anus.
Anus, yeah. Converted.
Been
converted
It's
converted
close
into a 1 out of 100%, which is weird because I know that there's this
What?
one. Isn't there one that's that they do 8 out of 8 if it's like the top?
Oh, that sounds great, mate.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
bait, mate.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with what I had Rotten Tomatoes up because we were talking about Rotten Tomatoes, and I saw an advertisement for How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, you can watch it now on iTunes, even though it's not out yet.
Really?
Yeah, I might buy this. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see this movie unbelievably bad.
I totally will. Like,
That's
not only.
$69?
Yeah, how much is it?
$20.
Oh God, that's expensive. But you know,
I don't even care. Like,
for the for the sake of rewarding that business model, I might just buy it.
It's like 3 months worth of Netflix.
I know, but
it
I
doesn't
can't
come out.
really
It
get
doesn't come out till
behind that.
December. It doesn't come out on. I don't think it comes out till December.
really, and you watch the whole thing.
I
See,
would hope so.
here's the thing. I actually really fucking hate like Godzilla, right? I went to see it in the movie theater, and then I really wanted to watch it when I got back home, but I can't do that, even though the movie is digitally edited. The movie that we are watching
I
was
know.
not edited on a film bed; it was edited on a computer. So they have that. The only thing that they have to do is put it online, put it on a server. But they waited. Like 6 months, 8 months for them to print all the DVDs and put it out and have it go out of theaters before they were allowed to have digital copies. And that's fucking stupid. Like, I shouldn't have to like be forced to go watch the movie for 6 months sitting in like a stinky movie theater by myself in a dark room next to people who are going to be talking on their cell phones and have babies crying and crunching on popcorn and shit.
You do know, of course, why that's the way it is. It's not like it's a
Well,
surprise
yeah,
to you.
yeah, of course, but I'm just saying that's stupid, and I like
that change will happen in our lifetime,
Yeah,
obviously.
it will, but How to Train Your Dragon, that seems like it's a step in the right direction, and I would like to reward that fiscally, monetarily,
Yeah,
to them.
Didn't the movie? It's stupid because the movie came out, How to Train Your Dragon 2, in like June or May or something.
Of
came
How to
out-
Train Your Dragon 2?
Yeah, it came out like months ago, like 5 months ago. And it's just now coming out on DVD. Why?
Oh, I thought it was already. I thought you were saying it wasn't in theaters.
What? No, it came out
Okay,
like
yeah.
5 months ago.
So maybe I'm not going to reward them monetarily,
Right.
then, because
I
that's
didn't even-
bullshit.
Wow.
I didn't know it came out either.
No, I was just so confused because I thought you knew that, and I was just my mind was blown.
No,
That's-
I thought he was saying that the movie hadn't come
Yeah.
out yet, or the movie was
No.
out and they were also offering a digital edition instead of having to go see it in the movie
parallel.
theaters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna.
Which is
download
what I
this
would like.
because I want to see this movie right now. I think I'm gonna watch it right after we finish
You know
recording.
how many jobs that's going to kill? Because nobody will choose to go to the movie theater anymore if that's the option.
Right. I like going to the movie
Maybe.
theater. If you
the
get
movie
like,
theaters are already exactly. The thing is like there are some movies that are movie theater movies, you know.
I would say any like as long as you don't get a shitty like crowd, which is exactly like babies and shit like that, then a movie theater's fine. But
Yeah.
when you get those assholes, then your experience is ruined, and that's why.
Yeah, I want to watch it at home.
No, I understand. It's just like you can't leave that decision up to the people because then they'll decide every movie for some people is a home movie versus a movie theater movie. And then, obviously everything will tank and then they need to raise concession prices another 80, 90,000%.
I can't believe
See,
it.
but the thing is, they actually wouldn't need to do that because they fucking super mark it up. Like, you know who actually marks it up? It's not even the movie theaters. It's the MPAA who marks up all that shit.
Well, I know, but they won't take the loss, though. They'll still
Yeah.
try to take everything on top.
Yeah,
so they'll just
exactly.
take their markups afterward and just pass it on to the consumer.
I don't
The consumer
understand.
pays for every fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like selling food at that price is even legal. Like that's gouging. Gouging is
It is obviously gouging.
Yeah,
yes.
it's obviously price
completely
Captive
illegal.
market, and yet it's fine. I don't know.
It's weird because like in other situations,
Well, that's how
it's
they
very
get away with
punishable.
it because I think now maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, but I remember reading years ago about how it's the MPAA imposing like their own essentially their own taxes on the film for having it being shown in the theater. So it's not actually gouging because they have to incur those costs because like the licenses of like running the movies in their theaters is so incredibly high.
So we could be like 2 levels deep into corruption that we don't even know about.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And it's stupid too, because it's like they really are shooting themselves in the foot, because like how can a family take their, at least in other states it's a little bit easier, but like in New York City, if you wanted to take your family out to the movie theater, right? Say you were just a husband, a wife, and one child. That's like $50-$60. That's probably more than that.
Dude, in Vancouver, I went with Ryan and Kate to see a movie, and I paid for it. It was like $65 for 3 of us.
Yeah, that's absurd.
It was a 3D movie, and it was fucking nuts. We didn't even buy food.
Oh, really? You didn't even buy the food?
Yeah, we didn't buy the food.
Ridiculous.
It was just the tickets were like nearly $20 each.
That's absurd.
It's stupid. It's like it's another one of those scenarios in which, and I don't understand why companies do this. They're like, okay, we can't have 100% of the money. We can only get 90% of the money. So instead of it, because of that, we're gonna make it so that no one wants to buy our product anymore because it's like so ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's like we'd rather have none of the money rather than 80% or 90% of the money.
It's them flirting with the breaking point, right? Like they always have to maximize profits to the extent where they can't even reasonably find a middle ground anymore.
Right.
It's just everything has to be pushed to the limit, and then when it breaks, they just don't know how to react, so they just keep pushing it until it fails.
Yeah.
Because God forbid you lose a percentage of profit when you could have been pushing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's the model of capitalism, right? Like, that's what the whole thing is based upon, which is why it's kind of destined to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, reason and logic is supposed to come into this equation somewhere, too, and providing a service in a reasonable exchange for money is, like, the whole premise, yet it always goes to the extent of that thought pattern, which is just push it until it breaks.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I even have that opinion that's like, you know, some movies are movie theater movies. The reason I say that is because, like, how often can you really go to a movie theater at that price range? Like, at that price range, how often can you realistically... Yeah, like once a month, maybe, right? And then in the summertime, that means, like, you're going to watch one summer blockbuster, 2 summer blockbusters, maybe, that are coming out?
The movie theater would hate that.
Yeah.
If you told them that, like, oh, you're only going to see one of our 15 movies? Oh,
yeah.
Well,
yeah, and like conversely, like if they change the pricing scheme so that I could actually watch their movies, I'd probably spend a lot more money at the movie theaters and go, you know, more often.
And then introducing 3D bullshit into this whole mix is just diluting it and making it even worse, because you're providing a service I'm not even interested in. Oftentimes, I don't have an option. Because have you seen this, where you'll go to a movie, it's like, oh, well, we've only got 3D version of this.
Yeah, you only have the 3D, yeah.
And the tickets are like $7 more. So it's like, all right, well, I mean, I don't really want to see it in 3D, but like I want to see the movie, so I guess I'll bite the bullet. Like, that's the impulse that you need to make all the time, because you don't want to completely change your plans based on that.
I'm actually surprised the 3D trend has lasted as long as it has.
Yeah,
it's dying.
They forced it. They forced it so hard.
It's dying so hard right now. I don't even remember the last time that 3D was even an option in a movie that I saw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still do it for the summer. Yeah, they still do it for the summer blockbuster movies. But like Guardians of the Galaxy is another example. Like, I want to see that movie.
Guardians of the
Galaxy. That movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, with Martha Stewart. I want to see that movie, but I can't. I just the only way I could do it is if I go to a movie theater by myself, like a mile away from my house. And go sit in a movie theater with like 3 other dudes instead of just sitting at my computer, where I would be perfectly comfortable purchasing it if you just offered it to me. But no, you're gonna wait 6 months to try to squeeze as much as you can out of the movie theater pricing or whatever, out of the box office sales, and then spend all your time printing these DVDs before you give me a digital copy, which you already have. Like, you have already done all that. That you got it. You did it. You made the digital
but again,
copy.
you know that's because they can't compete with themselves. They have to make sure the box office and the DVDs stay separate, or they're going to kill themselves. They're going to eat their own sales.
I know what you mean, yeah. Well,
and destroy the box office.
But they don't even necessarily need to do that, because, like... Well, yeah, I mean,
they want the repeat sales, too.
Yeah, I guess that is really the thing, though, right? Is it's the Dark Souls-y kind of thing, where it's like...
They're holding it hostage until it's out of the theater, because they want you to go back to the theater multiple times if you want to watch it.
Yeah, it's...
I remember, like, my family used to go to the movies, like, every week, or every 2, or every, like, other week, and it was cheaper back then. It was, like, $8 for a ticket, and that's not bad. The food was still ridiculous, but we would just sneak in food because
A
that's what
different
everyone
kind of
does.
ridiculous. Yeah, I absolutely
Yeah.
advocate people to sneak in food because I
Oh,
can't
I
stand
totally sneak
it.
in food. Fuck them. Like, they can go suck my balls. $13 for a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck my
I
dick.
would be if they actually like if they caught me and saw I had food and then called me out and told me to leave, I would fucking ream them out.
Yeah. Well, because the other thing too is it's like they up the prices and don't increase the service. It's the kind of thing that I actually get
Yeah.
pissed off with the MTA in New York, because like the MTA in New York is the subway system, the public transportation. Anyway, they keep raising the prices every year, and they're not increasing the service. And in fact, they're having like
Aren't they adding
more
Wi-Fi
money.
to the subway trains?
Are they? That sounds pretty
I
cool.
really thought they were actually.
No, they
Maybe
might
I'm
be,
mistaken,
yeah.
but
But usually when the price like I remember a couple years ago they upped the prices like another 25 cents per card,
right.
and they and actually in that same year they took down a line so that wasn't running
Yeah, change
anymore.
routes.
So there's less service, and on top of that they had a what's it called, a surplus on money. They were above their budget. Like, they made more money than they
Right.
spent anyway, and they still raised the prices. And it's like, you know, I can't respect that. Like, I'm not gonna respect that at all.
I thought the reason they had a surplus and raised anyway was because they were trying to give the workers raises or give them better benefits or something. I thought there was actually a reasonably benevolent reason for it, even though it sounds like bullshit on the surface.
I highly doubt that. But I don't know, maybe.
Or hire more people.
Maybe that's what they said. But no, I remember that year they also laid off a bunch of people too. So they're like,
Well, the
less
thing I
workers.
would be more pissed off about even than that, I know because it directly affects you. Obviously, you're definitely going to be upset about it.
Yeah.
But the bridges and stuff tolls, those are.
Oh yeah,
nuts.
those are absurd. Yeah, those are like, it's like
Those are
$20
just
tolls
crazy.
on I think on the Brooklyn Bridge it's like a $20 toll or something.
If you have a job where you have to commute
ridiculous.
over that bridge every day, that
Yeah.
starts to become a huge force in your life that you can't ignore anymore.
Well, yeah, and then on top of that, it actually becomes like that money mongering.
Negates your job.
No, well, not only that, that actually leads to fucking like safety problems, because that leads to a huge, incredibly huge influx in traffic into the Midtown Tunnel, which is free.
Right.
And that leads to a lot of fucking crashes and people getting hurt because everybody's gonna go there because it doesn't cost like $1 billion. And like, you know what it is it's that same reasoning, right? It's that premium business model reasoning, you know, that like some of these simulator games have, where it's like, well, less people are going to buy this, so we have to up the price, right? And so like it's probably on the bridges the same thing. It's like, well, less people are gonna go through this bridge, so we're gonna have to up the price. No, that leads to less people going on the bridge again. Doesn't
There's
solve the
another
problem.
element, though, where it's also perceived value when it comes to the sim games, where they're trying to give the impression that the value is somehow quantifiably demonstrated in what you're buying in the product.
Mhm.
Whereas, toll on a bridge, I don't think there's any question of the value you're getting from that prospect. You're going to drive over a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
But with the game, like, there's this huge nebulous element where if people don't play it or you don't see it being played, you don't know what this game is worth. It's, completely up to whoever made it to decide what it costs.
Yeah.
So you see a value of it that's $40, whereas comparable games are 10. You go, well, they've obviously added something that warrants them to feel that it's worth $30 more.
Mhm.
And that plays a role in, the psychological element of trying to get those extra sales that they might have missed out on had they priced it lower. But then again, you reverse the whole element. If it was priced at $10 instead of $40, maybe a lot more people would have bought it. So it might end up a wash. I don't know. It's a gamble either way.
I don't get when people pay like $50 more for a shirt or something because it has like a little stitched man on a horse on it. Like that's the one that I don't get. I never
Brand
understood
recognition.
that. Yeah, exactly. What's the brand recognition?
You want to be
thing?
part of a club.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. I never do. I never wear
Social
logos on
acculturation.
my not even on my like shoes or anything either. I don't like wearing any logos. Because it's
You
like
want to be identified
gonna-
with a lifestyle is why they do it.
Well, yeah, like it's not only that, but it's also just like I wouldn't be against brands, like wearing brands and logos and stuff, if I was being paid. Because like
Right.
if Nike wanted to give me money, I would wear the shit out of your shoe. But fuck it, I'll fucking tattoo a Nike symbol on my head if you're gonna give me like $1,000
No, I
a
get
week or
it.
something. But like I'm not going to pay you to advertise for you. That seems really stupid. Like that's a really stupid business model to me. I'm not saying people who like doing that are stupid, but I mean, to me, that I don't
Beats
want
by
to do
Dre.
it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is just coming from the top. The whole job that they have as marketers is to try and sell you on the fact that if you buy this product, you will identify with a certain type of lifestyle.
Yeah, and you'll
So
be cooler.
owning a material good makes you a different type of person if you, had it versus not had it. So, when they're successful, they're creating a culture around their product and their branding.
Yep.
And that's exactly what people flock to when it's done right and what drives people away from it when it's done wrong.
Yeah. And taking it back to the movie theaters, that's why movie theaters suck dicks. Up the service. Give me a fucking, massage chair. Then I'll go to your movie theater.
There's
No, I
one
know,
movie
but
theater. It's called Star Cinema that we have, or I guess not. We have in Houston. And you go and they come and take your order for a meal during
That
the
sounds
trailers,
nice,
and then 10 minutes into the movie, they bring your food in all nice and quiet.
That does sound nice.
And it's awesome. It's like
Yeah, but it's like $30 more, right? I assume.
no, the ticket's like $9.
Really?
They make their money
So
off
it's
the
just
food.
part of their service in
No,
general.
yeah, they make the money off the food. And the food's not really expensive. It's a nice place. It's cheap, and the food is average quality. It's like if you go to any kind of
I love the way you said that.
well, I'm not gonna say it's good.
The food
I'm
is
just gonna say
average quality.
it's average. No, it's food that you'll eat and you go, I like that.
That is food.
That is all right.
That provided me a medium amount of nourishment.
Yeah.
That did not make me cringe at its taste. So there you
No,
go.
but it's good. And I
See,
wish
that's
there were more
an
places
exception.
like that.
There are so few places where there is even anything going on at all. It's
Oh,
generally
absolutely.
with movie theaters, it's a race to the bottom to see if they can provide you absolutely nothing for the most possible cost.
Everyone, they keep
Yeah.
wanting they want to give you more D's. I don't know why the movies are trying to shove all these D's down my throat. I don't understand.
They got a big D. They
Oh,
got
yeah.
a
They got
like my movie
3D,
theater.
4D, 8D. Stop putting these D's in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't want them.
The movie theater near my house, the prices have gone up pretty consistently throughout my entire life. Movie theater hasn't changed one fucking bit. It's the same. It's the same place. Like, same chairs, same seating arrangement. The bathrooms haven't. It's the same thing. Service hasn't gone up. Price has gone up.
They got more D's. They got more
Well,
D's.
they have to pay extra now because of all the gas prices going up to ship
Right,
all of
yeah.
those movie reels.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even
I-
inflation either. To the lone dissenter, I'm sure in the comments who will exist, who said, "Well, inflation happens and all that." And yeah, inflation does happen, but that doesn't mean that you have to raise your prices beyond the inflation rates.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
You mentioned gas. I went to a gas station. Was it last week to fill up, and gas was $2.75. And
Yeah, that's fantastically low.
I was blown away.
That's
I
awesome.
hadn't been looking at gas prices because they haven't been a problem. But when I realized it was literally $2.75, it was $30 to fill up my
blast.
car. I know, but it blew out. Because when's the last time it's been below $3?
It's just funny
yeah, I don't
when people complain about gas prices in America too, because in Europe it's way worse. I think it's like
Yeah,
it's
I know.
$12 a gallon there or something.
Didn't America become the #1 producer of gas? Not just gas, but
Petroleum.
whatever that petroleum. Yeah, didn't it do that?
Mm,
I remember
probably.
reading a couple months ago that it became the #1 producer of petroleum.
Yeah, sounds. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
Slippery slope of a conversation that I don't feel comfortable going down.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Houston, where I live, just in that area, is literally the chemical plant area of the country.
Right.
So gas is going to be cheapest there because that's where they make the gas.
Well, New Jersey as well.
Yeah. Well, Houston
Actually,
is. Well, that's
On
where the gas
a
is.
side note, have you guys been reading about all this stuff about how Tesla is getting kicked out of states because there are lobbyists for GM who don't want them to fight to compete?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, no, that sounds like literally against every basic principle of our economic system, which is that
Yeah.
competition is inherently good, and they're actually
Competition
making
is
laws.
good as
They're-
long as you don't compete with me.
Yeah, well, competition is good as long as you don't compete with the guy who's already #1, and
Right.
you actually have a legitimate chance of dethroning him from #1, because then they'll spend all of their money on making
like
sure
cap-
that doesn't happen.
There's people think that capitalism is this flawless thing. It's like, I mean, once you become #1 in capitalism, you stay there.
Money just can't influence politics. If money influences politics, this shit happens.
Right.
And it's stupid because that's very, very clearly bad for the consumer, right? And that's what capitalism is supposed to be, is it's supposed to be really good for the consumer, which in theory, it is, right? Because it gives you like all this choice and stuff, and you vote with your money and all that
And
stuff.
it was,
and you should get the
for a
best
long
product
time it
based
was.
on competition. You should get the best product. But when the when the money influences like law and like the legal system, and then it changes so that they can make laws that will stifle competition, then it kind of like breaks the whole thing entirely.
It's not capitalism anymore. I don't know what the
Yeah.
word is for it, but it's not. We're not capitalists anymore.
Oligarchy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
oligopoly,
oligarchists.
basically.
Oligopoly on my balls.
Yeah, exactly.
And about your point on with the lobbyists and all that, not saying that it's not true. I haven't seen the articles myself, so I don't necessarily want to comment on it.
Oh, the Tesla. Yeah, I forget
yeah,
where
the
it was.
Tesla thing.
There's some state where the guy.
Yeah, I saw. That was like a Minnesota. I wanna
Maybe,
say?
yeah. He's like,
I mean,
what's good
a lot of
Michigan?
times
Oh,
when
it's
those
probably
types of things
America.
happen, don't the lobbyists hit a bunch of the same states that are always kind of really
Yeah.
susceptible to that, and then we eventually have a court ruling that says, okay, fuck all of those people, change it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a way,
Maybe.
it's as stupid
Well,
as it
it'll-
is,
yeah.
it might actually pave the way to actual positive change.
Historically, it should work out like where the obviously superior product will win, like maybe. But then also there is a historical precedent for that not being the case. For instance,
Well,
like you guys know the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
yeah.
You know that's actually based on a true story. Like not the rabbit part, obviously, but the
based
rest of the
on the
story
novel.
of the
That,
game.
that was the low-hanging fruit. I was gonna go for the
Yeah.
and the cartoon rabbit.
Yeah,
Yes, no,
a living cartoon rabbit. He came out of the no. Like so, essentially in Los Angeles. So you know how New York has like a really good public transportation system and is hailed like globally for how good it is.
I'd like to believe that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not sure I always agree with that statement, but I like
Well,
to believe
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I also give it a lot of shit, but that's because I live here and you always take for granted wherever you. But
Well, I've been a couple
Yeah.
other places that it's like way better.
yeah, I don't doubt it. But there's a lot of coverage with the subway system in New York. And anyway, when subway systems started becoming popular and started being built in all the major city centers, obviously the companies that were previously making cars and highways didn't like that because they wanted people to drive cars.
Of course.
And you know how Los Angeles is notorious for its really, really god-awful traffic? Well,
Yes.
the reason for that is it's called the I think it's called the Red Line Conspiracy, maybe is what it's called. Red Line Conspiracy.
Oh, Illuminati.
It's
Yeah.
Illuminati.
Well, it's a real real thing, but anyway, essentially they lobbied and took down the public transportation system in Los Angeles really early on, and then instead built a bunch of highways.
Right.
And it completely fucked over LA, and LA has had bad traffic for like a century now because of it. And it's like there's a historical precedent for a company having way too much money, which, you know, coincidentally happens to be the same company, which is GM. But anyway, there is historical precedent for them actually fucking over the consumers and getting something that happens that is very objectively worse for people.
You know, maybe if GM made good cars, we might actually,
That would be nice, yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
system, though, really doesn't have a way to account for when there's such a massive difference in wealth, whereas you have certain companies that control 90% of everything, and then you've got like 5% that are trying to come up and provide competition. Well, they've got so much money, they'll just buy them out every single time, whether they want to or not. And if they don't, they'll put pressure on them in ways that force them to fold.
Yeah.
So it's like, there is no competition allowed when that happens, so thereby we don't actually have capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
it gets real
Is
weird.
that not a correct thing to say on every level, or
Well, no, I mean,
do I
like,
misunderstand?
the basis of capitalism is voting with your money and, like, you know, competition. But yeah, there are a lot of things that make it anti-competitive. But that's mostly because our legal system is like really slow and also really corrupt. So
Right, but there's no
It's
check and
hard
balance
to-
system for something becoming so large that it gobbles up everything near it.
well, no, it's
All
supposed
the
to.
gopples
The
up.
FCC is supposed to
Yeah.
do that, but they are again very slow, and they run on really old tech. Is the other thing, and see, Dennis has actually told me about this.
Oh God, don't show Dennis this video,
Yeah, and
please, for the love of
Well,
God.
commenters, just be aware. I know this is like super basic stuff. I'm just sort of going over it because it's fun to talk about.
Yeah. Well, so Dennis told me about this where like essentially like companies like Goldman Sachs and other huge major banks and stuff, and like guys who have trillions, billions, bajillions of dollars. What they do is they actually go and hunt for kids coming out of college that have the best grades, have the best whatever. And it doesn't actually matter which field they're in. They don't have to be in finance. They can be in biology. They can be in something else.
Sponsor them and stuff.
Yeah, right. They sponsor them. They take those specifically. And the reason that they do that is because, obviously those are like the people who are going to build the future of the world.
Influence them early off.
And they have enough money to spend on that as well. And what it leads to is like government agencies like the FCC basically get second pick. And so there's a lot of issues with that, and they don't get a lot of money either, so they're on like really old tech. Like apparently they still work on a lot of like paper stuff, which is obviously flawed.
I hate the fact that even like just so many companies still do so much shit on paper. Like
the veteran medical claim thing is just crazy.
Waste of time. It's a waste of resources. Like we can do everything digitally now. It just if you're not worried,
filled with paper that's about to collapse. The floor is falling apart because of all the paper stacks on top of it. Of veterans' medical claims. Sorry, Austin, go ahead.
That's
absurd. You know what? It's always been like this too. Like I remember reading about the companies who would make books before the typewriter came out. When the typewriter came out, the companies that made books spent like all of their money on trying to fuck over the typewriter because it like basically meant the end of what they were doing. And then inevitably they failed because obviously things are typewritten now. But it's it's always been this way where like if you have a lot of money and you're in the obviously weaker position of like a less like an inferior product, but you were there first and you have more money, then they're always going to try to fuck over the thing that is good for the consumer. Obviously, like that is obviously better for the consumer. And I think like we can say that objectively electric cars are better for people in general, right? Because we're not going to run out of a finite resource. Well, I mean we are, but I mean still like it's still better than blowing up.
Well, hopefully we're not going to run out of wind and solar energy, but yeah, in the scheme of things on a universal scale, I guess I know what you mean.
Yeah, it should be better than blowing up old animal parts because we're going to run out of those.
But there's other factors that we can't even account for that are irrational.
Well, and then the other thing too is that like oil still runs the production of electricity as well, so it's not like it doesn't use any oil. It will be using oil, but it's a step in the right direction towards getting off of our dependence on oil because we totally need to because it is gonna run out.
But people don't even agree with that premise.
Right? Yeah, I guess so.
That we need to change that idea. So that's where like you're screwed from the start before you even start actually fixing anything.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You got resistance and friction happening on every single step of the way, and little groups of incremental more people that are willing to agree with things.
Yeah. Yeah, well, especially the way that population is like ridiculously exploding. Like, did I mention that in the in a Magic episode?
I think we talked about it recently. If not, it was maybe on one of your streams. I can't really remember. They're all blending together sometimes.
Well, essentially, the numbers are pretty unfathomable. Like for instance, so like it took.
I remember you looked at the time frame from like 10 years ago to this time.
Right. Yeah. So like I was born in 91. I'm 23, 24, 23, something like that.
Oh, so, right, you don't know how old you are.
I forget this thing.
Miles always says that, and I always laugh at it.
It's not important, actually. But anyway, so I was born in 1991. In 1991, there were 5 billion people on Earth, right? Okay, so you have to keep in mind, then, that, prehistory, we kind of consider, like, we kind of know about shit that happened in history, like 10,000 BC is, like, Sumer and Egypt and stuff like that. So 10,000 years before the Common Era, we have some idea that humans even had civilization. We probably lived a lot longer than that before then too, like 100,000 years or something like that, right? Okay, so it's so let's say like let's say like 12,000 years,
Scandalous.
right? Because 2,000 years of after the Common Era, or Common Era rather, is like 1991 when I was born, plus the 10,000 before. It took that long to get 5 billion people. Within my lifespan, which has been 20 years basically, roughly 20 years compared to 12,000. Oh no, the Skype call died.
No, it
What?
didn't.
No, it didn't.
Oh, the other Skype
Surprise!
call died. Sorry.
Ah,
Oh god,
happy
the other
birthday!
Skype call died. All right. Anyway, so it took 12,000 years to get to 5 billion people. In the 20 years after the 12,000, it has increased 2.5 billion people. So it's actually increased by about 50% in 20 years compared to 12,000 years to get to 5 billion. That's like absurdly huge.
You ever played Cookie Clicker?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
this
the
is
Like we
Exponential
just made a
growth.
fucking quantum cookie collider.
Oh my god, we got one of those portals. That's the next one.
We got a cookie portal, and then we're gonna be doubling it like in 5 years.
By
just-
the time I'm dead, there's probably going to be like 20 billion people on Earth.
Nah, we're gonna all be dead by then.
We probably will. That's like a lot of people. That's way too many people. Compared to like the stuff that we have. We don't have enough stuff. We're going to
We
run
don't
out
have
of
enough.
stuff.
Well, we need to start stacking people in cubes so we can fit them all better, more
Yeah.
efficiently.
Once we
That's-
start learning how to better make stuff, we'll have more stuff. I don't think that's the issue. I think we're
Well,
just
in
gonna.
theory, yeah, that's
Well, I mean,
hope
we
that
already
we
like can do it pretty well. I feel like in 20 years we're gonna have like it down to a science, you know?
Hopefully.
We're real bad at efficiency, though.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where it's like we're living check by check, week to week. Like we don't know if we're gonna
Right.
have enough soon.
Soon the bill collectors are gonna start showing up.
Yeah,
That's a
it's-
money. I'm talking about food, like. Food is-
it was a metaphor. I mean like we are getting to the point where like yes, that has been true for a while, but we don't know if we are going to be ahead of the curve of having way too many people to feed and clothe and give energy to. Like we're at the point where it's kind of like we're kind of on the knife's edge of like we might run out of shit soon, and we really got to figure out how to make more shit a lot faster.
We're not gonna run out of food. We literally have too much food to handle. Like we literally throw food away, just big piles of food in America
but
because we have too much.
But also you realize though that, like I said, in 20
No, I know
years,
it's
increased
exponential, but like
50%.
in 30 years we're still gonna have enough food.
Yeah, but like.
And in
What
30
about
years,
a
it's a lot of
century
I
science.
don't know if
down
we're
the
talking
line.
about 30. I think we're talking about like 100, 200 years.
No, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm saying like in 30 years we'll have enough food, and maybe in 50 years we're gonna have enough food. That's a lot of science. 50 years is a lot of science.
Yeah, no, you're
is
right. Science is
some
also exponential too.
It
You're
is,
right.
yeah.
curve.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's how it's been for a while. Is that for like at least the last, since the Industrial Revolution, we've grown so exponentially quickly in technology and medical science and all this other stuff. But well, that's
Think
the other
about how
thing,
many
too.
more people are gonna live.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Life expectancy is always going up, which is also a bad thing because
Right, that's
there's
one of the
gonna be
main
more
factors
people.
into the population growth is life expectancy. Is that we've our life
Yeah.
expectancy is up like 30 years in like 200 years.
Yeah,
So-
it's like ridiculously high, and it's gonna get higher too.
What is average life expectancy right now? Because I remember when I was like in school, it was like 74. I'm sure it's already higher. Average life expectancy is okay. That's not what I wanted to
The thing
say.
is, though, if things just take a hard turn all of a
80.1.
sudden, we don't necessarily always have the counter solution for it. So if all of a sudden some new disease crops up, or we find out that we've been poisoning ourselves and giving us all cancer with something, like just may not be able to figure out the solution in the amount of time we're given.
Yeah,
So
right.
there could
yeah,
be a
that's
big
the-
problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
also
the reason
energy,
I think we'll all
too.
be dead. Actually, though, is disease. I think we're gonna have a really bad disease. I think the Ebola thing proves that we can't even fucking handle a really not contagious disease.
I don't know. There's been like less than 5 people infected in America. I think we're
I know,
handling
but
it
the
pretty
fact
well.
that anyone got infected
Like-
from someone who came to the country with Ebola just shows how incompetent we can be with people. Like, imagine Ebola, but with the spread or the infection rate of the flu. We would be fucked.
Yeah, but the flu already has the infection rate of the flu, and that kills like way more people.
Yeah,
every
but that
year
doesn't
than
have the
any other
death rate of
disease.
Ebola.
No, it like totally does. Like it has.
No, it does not.
The flu kills more people.
I'm not talking
every
about how
year
many
as a
people it
disease
kills.
in
I'm
America.
talking about its percentage killed.
Yeah.
Hundreds, millions of people get the flu.
There's also 1 million shots of a vaccine for Ebola coming out by next year, I've read, so...
Yeah.
Right, I know. I'm just saying, like, the CDC is not ready for Ebola plus flu. No, the world isn't ready for that. I think that's been proven by this. And I think it's just known.
I don't know. Like, again, it's been like 5 people infected in America out of like our population of like 2 billion.
You're not. Like Ebola is not contagious.
Whoa,
It's
what the fuck was that?
really not.
Yeah,
And
right,
the
yeah.
flu is. And if we ever had a flu that had the kill rate of Ebola, it would spread like the flu does and kill hundreds, if not millions, of people.
Yeah.
Hundreds
Well,
of
one would
thousands.
hope that if we had those sort of stakes in front of us, that we would make some pretty drastic changes immediately.
Right. Well, that's the hope. I mean, I'm saying, but with the way the country works now and the way that people are, sick days. Well, that's another thing is that sick days at work. People will work being sick because of how
Yeah.
bad we do. And imagine it's like someone at McDonald's he knows he doesn't have any sick days and he goes and he serves food to hundreds of people in a day. Then it's awful, right? And that's one McDonald's.
Right.
Like that's
Well,
why it's so awful.
One would hope that at that point we would start making decisions that are based on like the least common denominator, cutting things like that option out of
Right.
the
No,
loop.
it would be like we'd have to
We wouldn't be eating
change
food through
policies.
things like
Right.
that.
Or genetic augmentation. Boom.
We're not playing Civ, bro.
Which is also pretty scary too, because you don't know where that could end up. It's all gambles
Yeah.
in every direction, man. I
Well,
mean, there's no solution.
In theory, genetic augmentation could eliminate disease entirely. So,
Right. We'd have to get there before a disease does that, though.
well, we can already do some things. Like, for instance, I've talked about this specific gene, BRCA1 and BRCA2. I probably talked about this on the Magic episodes too. But essentially, if you're a woman, also if you're a man too, but it's less likely in men and it's extremely likely in women, that if you have the gene BRCA1 or BRCA2, then it's like a 90 to 95% chance that you will contract breast cancer. Which means that, like, we can actually remove genes from an embryo and we can actually, like,
say
implant them and
contract?
stuff.
Or is it develop in that case?
Develop, I guess. Yeah, sure, yeah, develop, yeah. So, but there's
Sorry.
like a 90, that's fine, yeah, but there's a 90 to 95% chance that you're going to develop breast cancer with BRCA1 or BRCA2. And you can take this gene test right now, if you're anybody. I don't want to, like, scare you if you're a lady watching this video, but you can take this gene test. However, before you go out and do that, also keep in mind that health insurance companies have to get that information as well, which is what's kind of really stupid, at least in America. I don't know how it is in other places, but if you take a gene test, then health insurance companies have to also get that information.
I thought they were developing a wall between them soon. I thought there was
hope
actually
so.
steps being taken, because I know that's such a huge issue, because that could really fuck people really hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the same time, though, like, it's like, while I understand how that's, like, really shitty, and I agree it's, like, totally really shitty, in our current system where we have privatized healthcare, it kind of makes sense that they would get to see something like that, because that is, like, you're taking on risk if you're an insurance company. You're taking on a
So you're
great
gonna
deal
go
of
get a
risk.
test that says you're about to develop breast cancer, and now you get dropped from your health insurance, so now you have to go into immeasurable debt.
Yeah, no, it's
and ruin
really,
your own
really
life.
shitty. No,
Like,
and
that's
how
not
it
a
is
thing
right
that
now.
can happen.
No, I know, and that's really shitty right now, and that is a thing.
That is
I
a
totally
broken,
think
fucked system.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But in our current system, if the healthcare is privatized, I understand why it is that way, because that makes sense.
The point
if
is
they're trying to
everyone
make money
pays
off of
in
it.
so we can afford everything.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
But-
if they can make decisions that are based on more than an educated guess and
Hmm.
exclude people from it, that completely defeats the point. Then what
Right.
did you just pay for?
Yeah. Well, and then again, on a the note that I was initially talking on, like, you can get that test, and if you were an embryo and they took that gene test, they could find out if you had BRCA1 or BRCA2. And then they could have removed BRCA1 or BRCA2, and that would stop you from, or it wouldn't necessarily stop you from developing breast cancer, but it would, if you had it, then it would stop a 95% chance that you would get it. So, and that's something that we can do right now. We actually have the technology to do that.
We have the technology.
Yeah, we can do that. Like, we can do those things. You can't do it now that you're an adult, or
says
born.
who?
Yeah, well, maybe we
Don't
can
tell me what I
eventually.
can't do.
That'd be weird. I don't think that's how it would work. I don't think it would work. I mean, I don't know a lot about gene stuff.
All I
but-
hear is a lot of negative coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I have a gene thing I can say. I actually just got a bunch of blood work done for my
Uh-huh.
doctor, and when I was there, I asked her, is there any way we can find out, like, what my predisposition is for blood clots, because I sit all day? And she said, yeah, actually, in this blood test we're going to do, I'll put you down for this and that, and I'm going to find out what my chances are of developing blood clots, and there's a chance that if I don't have a certain gene, that I can actually basically never worry about it. That's what she
cool.
actually said to me, too, like, that I just might not have to even think about that ever again.
Yeah.
Fucking science.
Which
Gene
is
stuff-
kind of amazing.
Gene stuff is so interesting to me. Like, the human genome was only mapped in 2005, right? Like, that's when the Xbox 360 came out, to put that into perspective. Like, we only...
Perfect Dark Zero's jelly walls, man.
we don't know a lot about it, and we're learning more about it now, and it's really interesting stuff. But it's going to be the kind of thing that's going to be completely held back by fear and, you know, other factors like
Stigma.
religion, stigma, stuff like that. Yeah, that's a superstition. It's going to be held back by all that stuff. But there is
Irrationality.
there is a possibility for us to make humanity way better with genetic augmentation, which is cool. Like, it's a really cool thing. And, you know, honestly, if I were having a kid and I were having a daughter, I would totally want to find out if they had BRCA1 or BRCA2 and then remove it if we could do it. Like, if you could do that, why wouldn't you do that?
You know what that causes, Rob? Autism, probably.
Right, yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is that guy who said that vaccines cause autism is in jail because he lied about it publicly but got paid a lot of money to say that.
Yeah.
So he's actually in jail, and he's the only one who said it, but it was taken as a thing, and now everybody thinks that that's a thing, and it's actually killing people.
really believe that if we're ever going to have a chance, we need to fucking drill critical thinking into kids in school.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so goddamn important.
I just
that
love
we
that
actually
people
make
don't
that a point.
vaccinate their kids. They actually put other vaccinated kids at more of a risk.
Yeah,
Like,
right, yeah.
That's
Heard of it,
really
yeah.
fucked up. Like, it happened, I think, in a school in, like, the Northeast where an unvaccinated kid got this, like, measles or something and then gave it to, like, 6 vaccinated kids. And it was like, wow.
Yeah, no,
you're
no.
an asshole.
That's another thing, too. Like, polio, there's been, like, an explosion of polio in America.
It might have been polio.
It could have been, I don't know, but, like, there's been an explosion of polio, and it's like, motherfucker, we fixed that shit. Like, we fixed
We
that
got
shit
rid of
100
it.
years. Like, we got rid of that. We finished it. We did that. That's what humans did. That's an impressive thing. It's not something to. And now there's gonna be an explosion of kids having polio because their parents are fucking idiots and listen to the sensationalized headlines on the news. And that's
There's a
stupid.
variety of
Like,
reasons why they could
I
have done
think
it.
that there.
Critical thinking.
I know that like people feel like they have a right to do what they want and stuff in America, but I really think your right extends so far as to as long as it's
Affecting
not
others.
hurting other people.
Yeah.
And that is objectively hurting other people if you were giving your kid polio on purpose because you want to exercise your right to choice of a fucking another person's life.
Hurting the kid.
Yeah.
You don't want to give him autism.
Yeah.
He might
right.
develop autism.
Yeah.
It's parents making decisions that hurt their own children because they believe that that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's why we need to start this shit now, so the next generation's worth of parents can stop making those decisions.
But what about the autism, Nick? Did you ever think about that?
I just want
I have
genetic
thought about
augmentation.
that, yeah.
Dude, like, we right now can, like, if it was legal, if I were to have a baby, I could get a scientist to go in there and increase the length of the muscle fibers in his legs so that he could jump higher and run faster than, like, pretty much any human on Earth. So I could, like, just make him a fucking superhero and he can do whatever he wants. Like I could change the color of his hair. I could change the color of his eyes if I wanted to. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily want to do that, but
He'd be a superhero,
What are you
Rob.
advocating for right now?
I'm advocating for genetic augmentation. It's like the future of
What would that
things.
do to our economy if there were certain individuals with
If
like
everyone could
superior
jump
everything?
really high.
Well, actually, there's a movie called Gattaca about that.
there we go.
That exact thing. It's about genetic augmentation and what it will
Oh,
do
those
to the
damn
future.
jumpers with
Well,
their
no.
super high jump height.
Only. Yeah, no. The
We can't invite him to the party. He's a jumper.
yeah, that's actually like that movie. You reminded me of Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Jumper, because I thought that there was this one scene where it was like, we're gonna check this off.
Teleporting kid.
Yeah, where there's this one movie where they're gonna check off like, all right, we have to establish this villain's motivation, and his literal motivation of when the guy teleports is only God should have that power. And it's like, whoa, wait, hold on, what? What do you God? Did we? Where in the Bible did it say that God can teleport? I mean, like, I assume he can, but like, what?
If you're omnipotent, that kind of implies parallel teleportation.
Yeah, no,
at
like,
all times.
I mean, I get that, but like, why
God
is that
teleported for our
specifically?
sins, Rob.
Yeah, like, why are you specifically holding on to like a biblical version of godly teleportation? Like, what? Why does that have to? What does it have to do with like Jesus and stuff? I don't understand. But
Also, he was like robbing banks the whole time, so like,
he was
couldn't you
robbing
actually
banks. Yeah, that could have.
couldn't you
Yeah, that
take
could have been the
exception with the fact that he was doing that?
Well, yeah, but they had like an Assassin's Creed Templars Assassins type
Oh,
thing going on.
I don't
where there
really
was this
remember the
organization.
movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but anyway, yeah, no, like what happens in Gattaca actually too is that like there are like two species of humans functionally, which is like, you know, superior humans and the inferior non-genetically modified humans, and they're treated as second-class citizens, which is a totally perfectly possible thing to that can happen.
Right.
And let's be honest, probably will happen if we start doing genetic modification, but it
Didn't level up that
should
science
lead
yet,
to it should lead to better things in theory. Like, it should lead to a better humanity
Or autism, probably.
or autism.
Better
yeah.
humanity that doesn't include us. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of where the line is.
Right, yeah. We're gonna be left out in the retirement home while my superhero son, who can jump the Empire of State Building, will live to 500
The
years
Empire
old.
of State
The
Building.
Empire of State Building. I didn't actually say the Empire of State Building, but
You did.
I did
It was
not.
close.
It was close, man.
I heard of, but I think it was just a stutter. I don't think
Yeah,
you
it was
meant to say
probably-
of.
Yeah, but yeah.
Why are you
Also,
making me afraid of genetically modified humans that don't exist, Rob?
They're gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I'm envisioning the island, and I become the organ farm for the genetically modified humans that need their shit fixed.
See, I
They
don't need
just
that.
slaughter me to get
We
the
should
new
just
limbs.
genetically modify lizards so they can be dragons, and then we can train them.
No, see, here's the other thing: is if we
keep
also, if it was also legal to clone human, like humans, then we
Very
could
illegal.
clone. Yeah, it's very illegal right now because of like, that's unnatural. But like, if that were legal, we could just grow. Like, if a dude has a shitty lung, we could just grow him another lung, and there's not gonna be any like.
I thought you meant like cloning just people.
No, well, cloning. Yeah, no, but we could
Well,
clone
we need the
individual
stem
things.
cell thing to not be an issue for that to even go down that road.
Yes, that's the other. That's
Stem
that's,
cell? More
yeah.
like autism spell. Cell.
That's not even about the autism anymore. That one has another specific political reason why people don't want that being a thing. But yeah, no, but yeah, like we could grow people like lungs and shit, and just give them those lungs.
Didn't they
We can do that. We
Hasn't that
have.
been done already.
Yeah.
I think someone. I heard
I
something.
believe they can grow skin grafts, right?
Yeah, they can do that too.
Yeah, you put your butt in your face.
Yeah.
So,
It's-
I like if someone
That's
gets.
not exactly what I was saying.
I know, but if they take skin off
That is
your
what a
butt
skin
and your
graft
back
is,
thighs
yeah.
because that's where all this.
I thought they used a seed to grow a bunch of skin that doesn't exist
Oh.
until they grow it, and then they implant it.
That
I guess
sounds
I was just
creepy.
talking about.
I don't know. Maybe they do that, but also like skin graft is usually like they shear off some skin from your butt or your leg or
Yeah,
your
I
thigh
know.
or something, and then they put it on your.
Put
yeah.
your face and you can be called a butt face.
Yeah, basically. But no. Like we can do a bunch of shit, but like
We
a
can
bunch
make
of other
butt faces.
stupid shit is holding us back,
Technology.
which doesn't make any sense. Like, if you think
There's-
anything that science does is unnatural, one, you're totally fucking right, And 2, you do a bunch of already completely unnatural shit anyway. Like, you have a headache? Are you taking aspirin? I don't see any aspirin trees outside your house. That's made by fucking science. That's completely unnatural. Actually, any form of medicine is completely unnatural.
Masturbation, totally unnatural.
That'll make it go blind and get autism. Yeah.
God.
But
masturbation makes you autistic.
Yeah.
I would be the most.
Oh, that would explain our politics system pretty well.
Hey-oh. No, but seriously though, like
that was actually like
genetic
really
augmentation is
a
gonna be
rude thing of me.
Yeah, it was pretty rude. Yeah.
Don't worry, Nick. They're stealing our money, so it's fine.
I mean, no offense to anyone with autism. That came out really wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of touchy, but it's all right. But
I've been making autism jokes for like 20 minutes, so I don't think yours was.
Well, still, I don't want to be insensitive in that.
Everyone knows we're
autism
joking.
Jokes,
We're
yeah.
joking.
But yeah, I don't know. Genetic modification, augmentation can be really fucking awesome, and I'm really excited to see the world that would be like that. I mean, there are obvious potential problem areas for it, though. Like, for instance, we do a lot of essentially gene stuff. Because what I'm basically proposing is eugenics, and
oh, I know.
Yeah,
and there's a limit.
Right. Well, and then also in the past we have seen that eugenics can lead to unforeseen consequences, like for instance, like dogs. You can look at some dogs where some dog breeds some dogs were bred to be fluffy or happy or, various other things. But then it's led to like, some of them fucking just their legs explode when they're like 5 or something. Or like weird. Yeah, there's some weird shit.
Purebreds are actually really like genetically awful. Like if you're,
I think you mean like hip dysplasia, not so much their legs explode.
They just explode.
Yeah, it's obviously hyperbole, but yes.
No, but if you like purebred, they usually breed incestually to get purebreds, and that a lot of incestual pure breeding has been led to. Yes.
I'm grammar police today. I'm sorry.
But has led to purebreds being genetically awful creatures. Like that, they're the golden retrievers. Their hips are awful.
Yeah.
I think not bulldog, pit bulls
also.
or bulldogs. No, I think one of the pit bulldog things. Their snouts are awful
too.
We can do like there is like those kind of things. It's possible that we can totally fuck that up. Because, like, in theory, what we would be doing with genetic augmentation with directly doing stuff would be a better way or a more precise way than what we did with dogs and other types of animals and vegetables and fruits and stuff that we've done this with. So it should be more precise, but then also there's the very, very likely possibility, considering that the human genome was mapped in 2005, that we probably don't know everything there is to know about genes, and maybe we completely fuck up some shit, and some people are going to get, like, fucked over that. But
it's 100% what's going to happen.
Yeah,
if there's an option for something, we're going to take all the options, whether we're ready or not to take them. As soon as they're available, we'll take them.
Yeah,
and then we'll deal with the aftermath.
Coming for your genes.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be a problem. But
so we're all going to die.
We can do some like really cool shit though. Like for instance, you can actually, if you wanted to, and if it was legal, you can make your baby bioluminescent. Your baby could be bioluminescent. Right now, today, we can do that. We can make your baby glow in the dark. You can have a glow-in-the-dark baby.
And then you need to get into personhood issues about, do you have a right to do that to someone?
Well, yeah, and that's totally
Do they have autonomy? Do they have control over their own self before they exist?
Yes, and that is a totally
and that's
fair
a question
and
we're
completely
not prepared to address.
Yeah, that is a debate that will happen and should happen, and I don't know the answer to really. I mean, I probably fall on the side of like you
that are
shouldn't
kind of
be able to do that.
First.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
you think that you should have control over that? I'm not sure.
No, I said yeah. Like I don't think you probably should be able to like make your baby bioluminescent. That's like they. Huh?
To smaller extents, there's other decisions you could be making, like the thing you said about can you make them super tall or can you make them jump extra high?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
do you have a right to tell someone how their life is
I think in that scenario, like, also, yeah, they probably not, but I don't know.
Do you have a right to make your babies have fire hands? I don't know if that's.
Well,
the thing is, those things are going to happen by accident.
I think the ones though where where it's like we can remove the genes that will get them diseases. That's
Right.
that's
That's
pretty
fine.
straightforward. Like that should be allowed, I think. The other ones, though, which is stuff that we totally can do of making people super strong or super smart, then that one definitely falls under that, like, yeah, we can, but should we? And, yeah, I don't know.
And you
Post
don't
the
have to get
comment.
into a religious debate about that either. There are totally naturalistic ways
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can address that question that don't bring any kind of God question into the mix.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't even
that's
We
where
all
I
know
like
God
to
can
keep that if
teleport,
possible.
so
Huh?
and God can teleport. So I mean,
That's true. Only God can teleport. Only He's allowed.
only God
Uh,
jumps super high.
I see, like, I laughed so hard when he said that line in the movie, because again, it was like I said, it was like literally they were checking off the we need to apply villain motivation in this scene, so I'm gonna go ahead and then they just completely half-assed it. They were like, yeah, fuck it, let's make him just a religious guy. Yeah, there you go, he's just like a god. Yeah, that's fine,
have a
and we'll move
script.
on. Won't even
It's just like
they-
questions and answers. How do we address this problem? Here it is, X and Y, plug it in.
yeah, exactly. It's just like. That was real funny. But yeah, no, that's it. By the way, and the reason that I say that you can make your baby bioluminescent, is you can look this up if you want.
They did it to cats.
Just search bioluminescent mice.
They
they
did
made
it to a cat too.
They
Pigs
did to a
too.
cat too. Yeah, really.
They
did
they
pigs,
made
yeah.
pigs have bioluminescent noses.
That's awesome.
It was kind of
Also-
freaky, actually.
Horrifying, yes, but also awesome. But yeah, like we can do that shit. There's a bunch of other shit that we can do genetically right now.
Yeah, good. Make him jump super high.
And
Yeah.
Teleport.
it's such a tough question to talk about because, like, I don't feel comfortable with doing a lot of that stuff, but my reasons are mostly just personal, and they don't really stem from any actual anything other than just like I don't really feel like we should do that.
Well, no, it's the well, yeah. I mean that's certainly a
Like,
thing,
I don't
but
know the
there-
results of where this
there-
goes, so
I mean, there are
I'm scared about it.
totally valid things, right? It was like, yeah, I could make my child freakishly strong, tall, handsome, and
You know what? That's what it is.
Awesome.
The slippery slope thing. It's just like, where do we know where to put our own restraint back
that's
in after
exactly it. Yeah, that's it's just completely slippery
Where do you
slope.
draw the
And
line?
by the way, just gonna put this out there. By the way, slippery slope. In case anyone is like particularly fond of logical fallacies, slippery slope isn't always a logical fallacy. Slippery slope fallacy is only a fallacy if you are saying if A then C. That's the only time it's a fallacy. If you're saying if A then B, then it's still a slippery slope and that's not a fallacy. And that would totally be a thing where it's like, what is our limit? Like, what if some guy wanted to like make his son into like basically Frankenstein's monster? Wanted to make him like a short and stout and had like a big giant jaw or something. Like, that's not fair to make a person.
What if you want to make him a little teapot? Like I
Yeah.
don't know. Like
Or like, or
The
yeah,
argument
exactly.
is, if you needed to, for some reason, remove this disease gene from someone, and the person who doesn't want to do it argues back, well, now you can make them 17 feet tall and globe green.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's a slippery slope
That
fallacy.
is the slippery slope fallacy. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but then once we unload the, well, we can make them strong and fast and smart, then you can totally
smarter,
be
better,
like,
faster, stronger.
yeah, what if somebody decides they want to make them slow, stupid, and what did I say? Strong, fast, and smart?
I don't know.
Weak, weak, slow, and
I
stupid.
feel like we've gotten to that point where we don't even know
It's-
what we're talking about anymore.
Oh, it's such a weird question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
makes me
it's-
feel weird.
It's a
inside.
question for people much better and more well-read than us are going to
In the
debate.
comment section, let us know
eventually.
what you guys.
Right, yeah, no, but those people are going to debate that for a long time to come in the future.
Or they won't ever have the debate and things will just start happening, which is the thing that I worry about.
Well, it's possible, but I highly doubt that, actually.
You don't always need to have the conversation when people are working in their own private sectors. Sometimes things just happen before you
Yeah.
realize they've happened, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, let's figure out what to do now, and then it just goes crazy.
But see, the thing is, we're going to have a huge debate before even this debate on religion and how God feels about all this.
But that
so
debate's
that
never
debate's
gone
gonna
away.
happen. No, but I mean, that debate is going to happen when it comes to genetic augmentation. Like, they're not
I know.
going to let... No, but I'm just saying, we're not going to have human genetic modification until we have at least that debate. So,
But
then
we've
that'll
been having that debate since the dawn of man, and we've never found a resolution for it. And since we can't, how can we properly have the debate without that hanging over our head? We can't. So eventually people will just do it anyway.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, there's gonna be, if they pass a law that says, like, you can totally do human gene modification, there's gonna be a lot of religious backlash if they just pull it over people's heads or, like, sneak it under the butthole so you can fart on it and smell it for later.
Juicy.
Well, I could easily talk for another 15 hours about this, so I'm going to stop myself at this point.
Yeah, we're at an hour and 20 minutes, so this is probably a good place to end it. So
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
Well, thank you for listening, and I hope you have something to say about that whole thing, because it's obviously a very easy thing to talk about. So feel free to chime in. We appreciate your support and that you're still watching the series, all of these episodes, and I think this might actually be episode 150.
Wow.
Possibly. Maybe. If it is, then thank you for all your support and for sticking around for all these episodes, because it's countless hours of us talking about nothing, mostly.
Literally like 150 plus hours of us just talking about nothing.
It's a long, long road, but thank you, everybody, for being here. New episodes Mondays and Fridays. We hope you'll stick around and come back for the next one.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
This is Alpaca Patrol signing out. Peace, fools.
God.